Okay, this is Walter with part 3 of the Triumph TR6 2.5 liter race car engine rebuild. We have the crankshaft in place, 10 over bearings new, main caps torqued down to 65 foot-pounds, new thrust washers installed, infloat has been checked. Make sure you put the information about the size thrust washers you have on your build sheet. And also the brown part, which is either brass or copper, faces outward from the main bearing from the block. That way that's what touches the rotating crankshaft. If you do the other way, the steel will weld itself to the steel crankshaft. Also, when you disassemble your engine, take the stock main bearing cap bolts from Triumph out and throw them away. They're grade 5 and they'll stretch. Use new ARP studs. They're grade 8 plus. That's what I have in here. You can email me, I'll give you the part number and torque everything down. Now the front ceiling plate, I haven't cleaned these up yet. The stock one is aluminum. I have an aftermarket one that is steel. These bolts set higher than the stock ones, so you need to grind some clearance on the bottom of the aluminum or the steel, or take them off the top of the bolt. Otherwise, do some test trial fits of the ceiling block before you goop it and put sealant in there and torque it into place. If you don't do that, you're going to have massive oil leaks through the timing chain cover in the oil pan. You know, we're going to look at the other side. Okay, you can see I have one piston connecting rod placed in there, and that's to make sure everything fit on the scoops that I showed you about for the high performance connecting rods. And it is decked to absolute 0, so that's good, and everything checked out just fine. And I moved this one piston without piston rings to all the positions. Now let's look over here. These are your rotating assemblies. Your piston, wrist pin, connecting rod. Get a digital scale, Harbor Freight is fine, and come up with the weight of each one. And I've been working on that. And you find the lightest one, and you can move wrist pins around, you can weigh everything until you get it. Otherwise, you have to start taking material out and try and get it within 1/10 of a gram, because we're going to be going to 7,000, 7,200 RPM. I like to take material from the inside of the wrist pin with a diamond grinder. You can also do the aluminum on the bottom side, but try and get it balanced. On your piston rings, I've gone to each piston ring to the hole that it belongs to and put it into my hand and check for the end gap. The piston ring gap should be about 0.022 of an inch, give or take a little bit. But you want to make sure it's not all the way closed. That could be a problem. And that's about it for today. Now we're going to start putting piston rings on the piston assembly and connecting everything, and then putting them into the block. That'll be part 4. Thank you very much.